though?
Okay, this is Dave Vobora.
Hey, man. Tribe, what is a tribe?
Yeah, tell me about Tribe.
Tribe's different than a team. A team is a roster. It's an organizational chart, right? Positions, roles, responsibilities. But a tribe is different. Tribe recognizes that the perceivably weakest person, maybe the most inexperienced, in this case, in our gym, maybe the most impaired physically. They're an integral part to the sum of the whole tribe, right? And that's why they have to be accountable to what that means, and they have a role. So they're empowered to do that, and it's critical to the success of the whole tribe. And then the idea of defining a new ridgeline for them is putting something on the wall that sort of scares them, sort of maybe they thought that they were never going to do again, but then unearthing that through hard work, where they begin to define, I call it sweat psychology, but digging up what it is in them that they can learn about themselves, because physical pain is emotional purge, and when that stuff comes up, that's why what we do in mindfulness with Mo, intention setting, and a lot of the kind of emotional intelligence helps them to identify their feeling state and get back to the present moment. So ridgeline is not just looking for personal goals to put on the wall to be able to define a way for them to channel what they're doing personally, but also a way to encourage other people and pay it forward. So it's a goal that's oriented around how their story can benefit somebody else. Right? You can't avoid someone else's pain, but you can help them get out of the mind state of suffering. And I think that's the victim mindset piece that you said earlier.
Yeah, tell me about that, Mo.
Victim mindset?
Where's Mo? Where's Mo?
Come
on,
Step
Mo.
into the shop, Mo.
Well, hi, Busch Pro.
Hi, Mo.
Yeah, Training Foundation. The victim mindset is really just seeing yourself as that label that we kind of talked about earlier, that the word cripple, the word adaptive or amputee, and going around the mindset that you can't do something because you don't have a limb or you're in a wheelchair. One of the things that was the key component of the OCR that we were talking about earlier,
what's
the obstacle course race. So
okay.
for example, we took a group of 4 adaptive athletes to the first obstacle course race this past weekend. 2 of these athletes just started walking. One guy just started walking again, 8 months ago?
Yeah.
And he walked for about 1.5 miles of a 4.5 mile course.
Holy mackerel.
At the end of this, he was in tears. Another one of our athletes was in a car accident when she was 16. She's in her early 30s now. The first time since her accident, she's been on monkey bars, she's climbed a rope, she's done all these different things that doctors said she would never do again because they were told she can't do that. So that's what David's talking about when we say adapt and overcome and push past those labels and those I can'ts. We seek the failure. That ridge line that most people are afraid to go to, we make them go beyond that. We make them see past that ridge line because that's where success and that's where growth happens. And you never know who's watching. So someone else out there that has that impairment might say, I can't do this because I'm in a wheelchair. I can't do this because I don't have arms and legs. And they see someone like Chauncey Jenkins, who after our athletes is one of our quadruple amputees, who now wants to do an obstacle course race. So you've got a guy with no arms, no legs that's going to do an obstacle course race, climb nets, go through walls, and do all this stuff. Someone out there is going to see that and say, you know what, I can. And I'm going to.
Wow.
That's the big picture. That's the ridge line.
It just shifts you from the victim's mindset, realizing that everything happens for you, not something that happens against you. And if you ask them, like, what are three things in your life that have made some total 180 change? When they get here, they typically list the negative things, but by the end, they'll list the positive things, and they'll prove why the negative things, that what they perceive as negative, are the exact reasons that bred the life for the positive to happen. And that's that perspective that they get to come back to the present moment, realizing that they already are who they're trying to become, and yet the actions that they take hammer home the way that they think, their focus on their thoughts, and then their intentions to develop their character into who they can become, not just who they see themselves as today.
Exactly.
I think that's the huge shift, is people see themselves as less than, right? If you treat them broken, I heard you say that. They act broken.
Yep.
But when you treat them like a whole person and you empower people to go, no, we're going to walk today. They don't give them a choice, like people rise up. And that's the indomitable human spirit and the idea that impossible is an opinion.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, we tell them that all the time. Like, if your life depended on it, you had to jump on top of this box, you would jump on top of this box. And we had one of our athletes do that. First time since her amputation, she's ever done a box jump before her amputation. And she did it. I literally looked at her and said, your life depends on you getting on top of this box. And she jumped on top of the box.
Wow.
And from that, tears flowed. And then she immediately went back and did 9 more repetitions. And she's never done this before in her life. But that one time that just scared the hell out of her, but she knew she had to get it done, showed her that you can do that. And now this girl's unstoppable. And talking to Travis, talking to some of these other guys, one of the things that we love the most, and I know I love the most, is seeing some of our veterans that are just broken mentally and spiritually. They come through the program, they don't talk to people, they might get to know some folks throughout the course of the program, but then something happens. They find that I can, and they understand they are unstoppable, and then they become our trainers. We have guys that they take that whole dark side after the program ends, and they do repurpose it. They start to give back, and so they can have a testimony to the other athletes coming through the program that here's where I was in a similar situation. It's going to get better. And you mentioned 180 degrees. There's a great analogy that if I'm a man and I step to the edge of a cliff and it's a 1,000-foot drop, if I take one more step, I'm dead. I have to turn around this way. But my journey goes this way. This is where I'm supposed to go. But if I turn around 180 degrees, I'm not taking a step backwards. I'm just taking a step forward into another journey.
Ooh, I like
That's
that.
what we teach them, right? Just because you can't do this, that's not where you're supposed to go. You're supposed to go this way. That's the journey.
Yeah, we just reframe it in the gym. I mean, there's other people use other ways to do it. We use it in the gym, and it's kind of the beautiful way. And this is why when we look to scale, right, how do we make sure that all of this is part of that package? Because it's not just the physical. Anyone can go and do the physical. The physical is the easy equation to solve. But the identity, the actualization of finding yourself in totality and accepting that with compassion and love, and then deciding what it is that is in your control, and then focusing on it with such intent that like the manifestation of it's already happened. That's what we instill in them, and that's when all of a sudden we just get out of the way, and they become the greater teachers than us.
So awesome.
Thank
You just got a full scope video on that.